Grooming my two Springer Spaniels used to cost around $240 every month. So, in 2020, with no professional training, I bought a cheap pair of clippers and decided to try doing it myself. 6 years later, I'm still grooming both dogs at home, but saving that money means giving up nearly half my day. I have two English Springer Spaniels. I first got Zooey, and then 2 years later, I got Captain. And before I got Captain, I was taking Zooey to a professional groomer. But after we got Captain, I was not happy with putting aside about $240 every month of my budget grooming my dogs. So that's when I started thinking about maybe I can groom them myself, because $140 is a lot every month to set aside for dog grooming. I was a little bit worried at first. I'm like, can I really do this, or will they behave when I groom them? So initially I did watch a few YouTube videos to see if I could even do this. And most of the videos I watched, I felt like it wasn't really giving me enough detail to see if I can do it or not. I mean, I did take away like a few tips here and there, but in the end, I was like, you know what? No matter how many videos I watch, I don't think I'll be able to fully grasp how to do this. So I just need to buy the clippers and try it out myself and see. I initially bought a really cheap pair of clippers. I didn't want to invest too much money into it just in case, I tried it and I was like, oh yeah, I definitely cannot do this. So I bought a cheap pair to test out, and that's kind of like how I initially started to groom them. So I just want to make it clear that I am not licensed. I am not a professional groomer. So this video is my personal experience rather than a grooming tutorial. So the first pair of clippers I got, I guess I couldn't call them a beginner's clipper. I got them on Amazon and I paid about $56 for them. They were affordable enough to experiment with. They gave me a chance to build confidence. So the very first time I began grooming Zooey, I was nervous. Like, I would take it so slow and be like, oh my gosh, what if like I really mess up and like her hair looks crazy? But I had to keep telling myself, like, even if you mess up, the hair's gonna grow back, and it's not like Zoe's gonna kill me. She doesn't know, right? Dogs don't know when the hair's messed up, right? But I was nervous. I think I was more nervous of like, oh, what if I accidentally, cut her and she starts bleeding? I was a little bit scared of that. That's what kind of made me the most nervous. But that didn't happen. I just took my time and took it really slow. So that was the main thing that I was nervous about with grooming my own dogs. So that uncertainty slowly went away. The more I groomed them, the more confident I became. So I stopped taking them to a professional groomer. So my process for grooming day is, first I prep the grooming area. Then I grab the grooming table from my outdoor storage. I set that up. And then on the side, I have a broom and dustpan and also a bag for trash. So usually I groom Zooey first, and she's very easy to work with. She listens to me and doesn't run away whenever she sees the grooming table. I don't think she really enjoys getting groomed, but she doesn't run away. So in the beginning, I used to use different size clippers, and at the end, I would gradually use number 10. It's just easy for me to just start with 10, and maybe around the face area, I'll use a 7 or maybe a 5, but usually I just start right away with 10. So the beginner clippers I purchased in 2020, and then by 2023, I was already pretty confident that I can do this myself. Probably never going to take them back to the groomer because I haven't for the past 3 years. And that's when I decided to upgrade my clippers. These new clippers were a huge upgrade because they were significantly faster. They cut so much better. And also, I wasn't having to stop mid-groom and constantly clean out the clipper and brush out, all the hair. This cut my grooming time quite a bit. So I was really glad that I finally decided to upgrade to the more expensive clipper because they were definitely way better. So the clipper itself was little over $200. But then if you buy the blades in different sizes, those I think averaged around $25. In the beginning, I was experimenting with the different sizes, but in the end, the sizes that I usually use the most is 10 and 7. Also, something I learned along the way with the clippers is they get really hot, because you're grooming them for like 2 hours, or at least I am. And that's how long it takes me. And the blade gets so hot to the touch, that it actually, I can't touch it anymore, and then I don't like it touching the dog's skin. So I learned that they have ceramic edge blades. And what that means is like they have like this little plastic part on it so that it doesn't get hot. So I switched over to that. And since I switched over to that blade, I no longer have that issue of the blade getting too hot. So I'm glad that I discovered that or I found out about that. If I had known about that in the beginning, I would have initially bought those. Lesson learned, so now I only use the ceramic edge blades. Initially, when I started grooming the pups, I didn't even have a grooming table. I didn't have scissors. I didn't have a lot of accessories. It was literally just the cheap clipper and that was it. But after I got more confident and then when I upgraded and got a nice clipper, I was like, okay, I'm committed now to grooming my dogs. I think I need an actual like grooming kit. So I ended up buying a grooming table on Amazon, and I also bought a grooming bag where I can put the clippers and blades all in one place. I also purchased these curved scissors. Now, I use these scissors on their paws. It makes cutting their paws so much easier. So glad I bought that because I was just only using the clipper before, and it kind of always made their paws look a little jagged, and it wasn't really aesthetically pleasing to me. So that's pretty much the accessories that I have purchased. I also just recently replaced the number 10 blade. It was getting a little worn out. I was starting to notice it when I was grooming them. So I did replace that. And so I bought that in 2023. It's 2026 now. So, I was able to use that blade for about 3 years before I had to replace it. I actually kind of dread grooming day just because it does take up half my day. It's a lot of work, so I spend about 2 hours grooming one dog, but it doesn't finish there. There's a setup time, then grooming them for 2 hours, then I gotta bathe them, which, takes about 30 minutes for one of them. And so doing that for both dogs and then cleaning up the mess afterwards, and I gotta, sweep up all the fur and clean off the table. It's a lot. Just tell myself I'm saving $240. I'm saving $240. So Zoe is pretty easy to groom. She doesn't move. Basically just lets me do whatever I want. And I always have like a lot of treats in my pocket. So whenever, I feel like she needs a little break or I just feel like she's doing such a good job being still for me, I just, just feed her some treats and she basically just lays there for me. Now, Captain, he's pretty good too. Like he stands up for me and he stays still, but it's hard for me to groom his tummy. He doesn't like laying down. He likes to stay up the entire time I'm grooming him. So while he's standing up, I try to groom under him, which is a little bit difficult sometimes. So when I'm grooming him myself, a lot of times I don't get a lot of his belly done very well. So sometimes if my husband is around, I'll ask him to help me and he'll kind of hold up Captain where I can groom on, in his stomach area. So Zoe is definitely a lot easier to groom than Captain. The only thing with Zoe though is she hates flies. So if a fly comes, it's kind of game over. Oh, no. It's okay, sweetie. It's okay. A lot of times I'm just praying that a big fly won't come around and freak her out. So another thing I have to think about is their surroundings. So I groom them outside in my yard. I make sure that I don't groom them on trash day because the trucks that go around are super loud and they don't like those trucks. So I know that it'll be too distracting if I try to groom them on trash day. Also, if I hear any like construction going on in the neighborhood, I won't do it on those days. So just I'm always aware of the surroundings and make sure that it's like a relatively quiet enough day to groom them because I don't want them getting upset or all of a sudden like just freaking out and jumping off the table. The reason that I don't have the collar attachment on the table is that Captain actually broke it. I was grooming him one time and I forget exactly what happened. He kind of freaked out and jumped off the table and took the whole thing with him. So, and then it snapped in half. So that's why I don't. I also think it was kind of dangerous that he was able to do that. So I'm actually kind of glad it broke and I don't use it anymore because what if he got caught on something? Anyways, that's a whole nother story. The main point is I like to groom them on days where I know it's going to be relatively quiet in the neighborhood. So at $240 per month, the main equipment cost was roughly equivalent to about 2 professional grooming visits for both dogs. So yes, I'm definitely saving money by doing it myself. So in the end, for me, I think it's worth it to groom the dogs myself. I no longer have to set aside a budget of $240 every month. Like I said, I don't look forward to grooming them. It's a half day thing, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer. If for whatever some reason, like the neighborhood got loud or Zoe got freaked out by a fly, or I need a little break because my back is hurting, man, grooming is tough. So I understand why groomers charge the fees that they do. It is not easy. And I really appreciate that there are dog groomers out there because not everyone can groom their dogs. So it's up to you. Like, is it worth it to you to spend half your day grooming your dogs? Just, save $240. Everyone's different, but for me, yeah, it's worth it. Although, it's not something I look forward to in the end, I'm always glad that I pushed through and I did it and I saved $240.